Welcome to Car and Bike. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. It has been a very busy and exciting week in the world of automobiles. So before we get to today's first review, I want to talk about the arrival of a particular model. Well, it's more of a showcase or an unveil that just took place a few days ago. This is the big volumes push from Citroën, the French car maker in India. This is part of its strategy to make 3 made in India high volume models that are going to be the backbone of its strategy going forward. The first of those cars is the new C3. This is a C3 that's unlike the European one. It's designed for India and Latin America. It takes on SUV cues, but still will sell as a hatchback. It's likely to be positioned somewhere between the Grand i10 Neos and the Maruti Suzuki Baleno, so expect pricing to be fairly competitive. It has connectivity, it claims to have a lot of interior space, those SUV styling cues that I mentioned, and colorful paint options as well. So lots to appeal to younger buyers and a whole lot to try and make a huge dent in the hatchback space, which is high volume. So lots to look forward to from Citroën. Now Citroën says that this platform is also electrification ready, but none of that's going to happen at the very start. To begin with, expect petrol engines on the C3 when it does arrive, and hopefully an automatic option as well. When does it arrive? First half of 2022, so expected by about March or so. All right, so we move from that big news of the week to a review that we've been wanting to bring you for a few days. This is the update for 2021 on the Apache RR310. Preetham rode the bike to bring you the review.
The TVS Apache RR310 gets some optional equipment to make it even more irresistible if you're looking to begin spending some time on a racetrack. And the latest kit on offer includes fully adjustable suspension, which makes the Apache RR310 the most affordable bike to get such kit.
TVS Motor Company's flagship motorcycle, the Apache RR310, gets updated yet again, and this is the 4th update since the bike was launched in 2017. It's only been updated in 2020, early 2020, when it got ride-by-wire, riding modes, TFT color screen. But now TVS has introduced what it calls build to order. Apparently customers wanted to personalize their bikes, wanted better kit, so now it comes with 2 different performance kits which you can order online and get it fitted from the factory on the bike. The most important change on those kits is fully adjustable suspension on the front and the rear, both preload and rebound damping. And of course, the exhaust has been tweaked a bit, so the sound is a little meatier, and now it gets a brass coated anti-rust chain which is said to give more mileage, so it will last longer. But the proof, they say, is in the pudding. So we are here at the MMRT Madras Motor Racetrack today to see how much of a difference that adjustable suspension makes to this new Apache RR310.
The build-to-order TVS Apache RR310 certainly looks the part. The racy graphics, brass-coated drive chain with anti-rust treatment, and a closer look at the triple clamp reveal the only visual changes. But there are some finer changes as well. The full-color 5.5-inch TFT instrument panel introduced last year is now updated to allow you store and view documents like the RC, insurance papers, and the driver's license. The Apache RR310 still comes in one variant, but with the new build-to-order platform, there is a whole lot of custom options available, the most significant being the performance kits. With the build-to-order platform, you can not just change the paint scheme, but also opt for 2 road-legal performance kits, Dynamic and Race, offering fully adjustable suspension, not available in any other motorcycle in its class, or even a segment or 2 above it. So, You can set up your suspension depending on how you use the bike, whether it's for city use, for highway touring, or for the occasional track use. The race kit also offers a new handlebar which is lower, and the race kit foot pegs have been moved up higher to offer more clearance and better lean angles. What remains more or less the same is the overall silhouette and design. The dual LED headlight and the LED taillight have been left unchanged, and the reversed inclined single-cylinder engine has also not been tinkered with. What has changed is the exhaust, retuned for a bassier note and with more cornering clearance. Our track session started with the suspension in stock setting, which was then adjusted and dialed up for track use. The difference is immediately noticeable as the RR becomes more confident, more sure-footed. And the good thing is that the sticky Michelin Road 5 tires have been retained and they offer superlative levels of grip. Clearly, the TVS Apache RR 310 now makes for one of the best setup entry-level sport bikes to improve your game on a racetrack.
What we're riding today is a new Apache RR 310 with the optional race kit. What you get is fully adjustable front and rear suspension, different foot pegs which are slightly higher so you get more cornering clearance while leaning on a racetrack, and of course you get the brass coated anti-rust chain. Now, the key takeaway of the new RR 310 with the kit is that suspension. It makes so much of a difference. It gives you more versatility to tailor-make it into your own requirements. So whether you're riding on city, you can make the suspension more pliant. When you're riding on a track, you can dial it up, make it more stiff, and that makes all the difference between handling and the confidence level. To me, the RR 310 still makes for a very good case. If you're into sport riding, this one offers a very good stepping stone into the world of super sport motorcycles.
The 2021 TVS Apache RR 310 in stock form has also become expensive. And to get the adjustable suspension, you'll have to opt for at least the dynamic kit. And for the race handlebar, raised footrest assembly and knurled foot pegs for better grip, you have to shell out extra for the race kit. But the good thing is that these kits can be retrofitted on any existing Apache RR 310, along with the engine maps and the electronic updates which were introduced last year. With the build-to-order options, the Apache RR 310 has certainly become one of the best kitted out entry-level sport bikes under 3 lakh rupees. Loaded to the gills with features and performance equipment not available in any other bike in its segment, the new RR 310 has become even more appealing than ever before.
It is time for us to take a short break. We'll introduce you to the MG Aster and also the new Force Gurkha on the other side of this break. Keep watching. Welcome back to CNB. I promised you a look at the MG Aster. Now this is another new SUV that's all set to drive in. It will rival the likes of the Creta and the upcoming Volkswagen Taygun. Pricing still not known because of course the price will be announced only when the car officially launches. That's about a couple of weeks away from now. That's also when we will be able to give you our full review. For now, it's just a first look at how the Aster looks, loaded with tech and pretty good looking too, I have to say. Okay, we now move on to another SUV. This one is a very capable one because it is all about going off-road. It is the car that many of you got excited about at the Auto Expo last year. It's finally ready for launch. King Shuk drove it, the Force Gurkha.
It was at the 2020 Auto Expo that we first saw a glimpse of what the new generation Force Gurkha would look like. It looked better, was supposed to be better equipped and retain its mythical, otherworldly off-road capabilities. Views like these take your breath away. I mean, the setting is so beautiful, so gorgeous that you need a car that matches the vibe and the terrain. And of course, the drive to this scenic place wasn't very easy. It was difficult, but not today, because we have the all new Force Gurkha with us. We are going to drive the car and see what has changed in terms of appeal, in terms of specifications, in terms of features, and we are really excited to drive this car and see what all it has to offer. Let us quickly take you through the design of the new Gurkha and the features it offers. The Gurkha continues to get a boxy, upright stance like before. The overall look doesn't stray far away from what we saw at last year's Auto Expo. The new Gurkha gets a clamshell bonnet, circular LED headlights with integrated daytime running lights, a new single slat grille up front with the bold Gurkha lettering, and the bumper is new too. You also get to see a lot of plastic cladding on the sides, squared wheel arches, chunky tires, and the spare wheel mounted on the tailgate. The overall silhouette is very geometric, and the Gurkha comes across as a focused, purposeful off-road and lifestyle-oriented vehicle. Needless to say, the exterior fit and finish do see marked improvement. The snorkel on the Gurkha comes as standard, and the water wading depth is about 700 mm. The ground clearance is about 205 mm. The new model is now 22 mm wider and 20 mm taller than the old model. The length of the SUV increases by 124 mm, though that has to do more with increasing the overhang up front to meet new safety norms. The new Gurkha also gets a new ladder frame chassis with increased torsional rigidity and a new body shell, both of which Force Motors say meets the latest safety regulations. On the inside, the new Gurkha gets an all-black cabin along with bigger aircon vents with glossy black bezels, a manual air conditioner, a 3-spoke steering wheel, power windows, ABS, dual front airbags, and forward-facing rear seats. The look and feel of the cabin is still Spartan. The cabin of the new Gurkha is seemingly a much better place to be in than the previous generation model. Of course, the plastics that you see here, they are not yet par for the course when you compare these to modern cars, but in terms of creature comforts, you do get a aftermarket 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system that gets Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apart from that, there's this small display here that's the tire pressure monitoring system. It again feels like an aftermarket, an afterthought sort of a thing, because it's placed there externally and not on the display like you would actually want it to be. Apart from that, if we talk about ergonomics, I feel that the ergonomics of the car are slightly iffy. They aren't perfect because the gear shifter is here, so you have to reach out for it. Had it been here, it would have been better. You get the 4x4 gear knob here. This is the diff lock from the front axle, and this is the diff lock for the rear axle. And the steering itself, it feels good to hold. The plastics, like we told you, they are not that great. I mean, the quality, the overall fit and finish, the quality inside the cabin still leaves a lot to be desired when you compare these to modern cars. The seats are bigger, offer better support, and the rear captain seats are easier to get into and are much more comfortable than before. Rear passengers also get an armrest. The cabin is quite airy with big glass surfaces, offering a good view of what's happening outside. Under that bonnet, the Gurkha gets the same Mercedes-sourced 2.6-litre diesel engine, which makes about 89 brake horsepower and 250 Nm of peak torque. There is a 5-speed manual gearbox as well, but no automatic, not even as an option, and no petrol motor either. Now I distinctly remember driving the old Gurkha, and it sounded rustic, it sounded raw. The new generation model, it is slightly more refined, no doubt about that, but that rustic raw charm that the Gurkha had, this one has that as well. Now I would say that this is a characteristic of the vehicle, the engine, because if you make the Gurkha too refined, then the charm is lost. But otherwise the insulation is much better than the previous generation model, and as far as the cabin is concerned, the noise that is coming inside the cabin from outside, it's much lesser. And in terms of refinement, like I said, it's slightly better, a notch better than the Gurkha. And the good news is that the low speed ride quality is really plush thanks to the suspension, and even if you increase the speed, the Gurkha doesn't care whether there are big bumps, potholes, bumps. It just doesn't care. It just like glides over everything you throw at it. So that's a good thing. Apart from that, there is a lot of play in the steering. But then again, like recreational vehicles, SUVs like the Thar, the Gurkha, they have to have some amount of play, and that helps when you're going off-road. But somebody who's going to buy the Gurkha, or the Mahindra Thar for that matter, he or she is not really going to look at the driving dynamics of the car. It is an enjoyable car for sure, and as far as the driving dynamics are concerned, yes, there is a fair amount of body roll. So if I move the vehicle like this, there's a fair amount of body roll. So somebody who's nauseous, he or she is not going to like the ride quality of this car. But apart from that, yes, this is a definite step up from what the old Gurkha had to offer. Now the specifications of the engine may seem underwhelming, especially if you compare it to the Thar, but be rest assured that isn't the case. The highlight here is that the bottom end has lots and lots of pulling power. One can ride the wave of the torque till about 2800 rpm, which should be good enough for flying through the urban jungle, on highways and traffic too. After 3200 rpm, the engine loses steam. The 5-speed gearbox though feels like a decade old and could have been better calibrated to offer smoother shifts. The new Gurkha gets independent double wishbone suspension up front and a 5-link rigid axle units at the rear with coil springs and anti-sway bars on all 4 wheels. Locking differentials front and rear along with 4-wheel drive and low ratio are standard as well. Force Motor says that there will be a bunch of customization options to choose from as well, such as the ladder, roof rails, jerry can and the all-terrain tires that you see on a test car. We are happy to report that the new Gurkha retains its off-roading prowess. We subjected the car to some really tough terrain, steep gradients, rocky patches, and the Gurkha soaked it in with consummate ease and was almost daring us to take it up a notch further. We really wish we had more time and tougher terrain to test the Gurkha, despite a novice off-road abilities. With the new Force Gurkha, the aim was to create a model, an SUV, which was far more appealing than what the older model offered. Well, did Force succeed in that? Let's see. Is it more appealing now? Yes, absolutely. More features? Yes, definitely. The Gurkha has a lot more features in terms of safety and creature comforts, so that's a definite yes again. Does it retain its legendary off-road ability? Yes, absolutely. And I think the video proves that as well. Now, the biggest question, is it still value for money and is it still practical? Well, value for money part, we'll only be able to tell you when the prices are out, which is towards the end of September. And is it practical? I think yes, in terms of practicality, the model has definitely grown and it offers a much wider appeal in terms of target audience. So yes, if you're looking for a new lifestyle vehicle, which is capable when you go off-road, which is really capable when you want scenic beauty like this, then the Force Gurkha fits the bill. And is it better than the Mahindra Thar? Well, no, wait for it. We will have the Mahindra Thar versus the Force Gurkha comparison for you really soon.
Please react to the Force Gurkha, and in case you're wondering, yes, I'm spending some time today with the new Classic from Royal Enfield. More information about all these vehicles is on carandbike.com, so remember to log on to the site or go to our YouTube channel to see all of these reviews there as well. I will see you next week. Until then, please wear your masks, please wear your seatbelts, and of course your helmets. Bye-bye.